So a question to Nish to kind of go and set that in terms of the benefits. If I look at banks, why do banks need to think about BIAN, right? What kind of things it could deliver as part of value? Because
Yes.
particularly what has happened is when I go to the senior leadership team, the senior leadership says, what's the business case? Why do we need to do BIAN? We have invested a lot on enterprise architecture. Is it something new, or is it as an old wine in a new bottle? So these questions start popping up every now and then. So, and you work with a lot of banks, and I know that you worked with a lot of these banks at odd hours. Now, one of the questions is, what's the use case? What's the benefits? What's the ROI that the BIAN can bring to any of these banks?
Yeah, it's a great question, and one I'm particularly passionate about, right? Because at the end of the day, the business case is king, right? So within a bank, no matter how lofty your aspirations are or what your intentions are, if it doesn't stack up from a cost-benefit ratio, it's just words on a page, right? So I guess before we talk about the benefits, let's just really quickly touch on what makes BIAN unique and how does it deliver these benefits, right? So there are lots of aspects and characteristics to BIAN, but the six that we kind of think of as probably the most valuable is, starting at number one, we use this term, it's canonical, right? Which means its representation is common and understood across any context and across any geography and across any organization. And that's really important because as anyone dialing in from a large enterprise, sometimes the first problem is language. It's getting an understanding between business units, between tech and business, between leadership and delivery on what exactly it is you're talking about when you say, we need to change this, we need to modify that, we need to add this new thing. What BIAN does is it brings a common sort of language to how you describe things, and that's the first step in getting sort of an alignment and a collective will behind what you need to do. So being canonical is really important. It enables agility because it fundamentally just breaks everything down into small bite-sized chunks, right? So rather than trying to eat the elephant in one bite, you can break it down, you can tackle things in stages, and that's one of the kind of core tenets of agility. The third is it is fundamentally built on the concept of composability. So the very DNA of BIAN is, as Mamta said, the service domain, which is a self-contained, discrete capability made up of functionality, made up of data, made up of APIs, and you can orchestrate or plug these in lots of different ways. But fundamentally, you can build a bank by composing it of all of these blocks rather than starting with something that's bigger than Ben-Hur. As a result, it eliminates complexity. So it's fundamentally designed to abstract away, these kind of large, complex kind of interactions, and again, break things down, simplify it. I touched on earlier the fact that it's stable over time because it describes the what rather than the how and the when. Once you use it as a blueprint, you've got a very, very stable foundation upon which to build your transformation agenda and change planning. And lastly, and this is very, very important, especially when you're considering things like moving off a legacy mainframe, you can adopt it incrementally. So you can carve off bits. You can implement BIAN as a pattern in subsets of your organization with the confidence that because it is a pattern-based framework, you are always going to be compatible as you roll it into other areas. It's not like you're going to start building a bridge and kind of end up not meeting in the middle. You can confidently sort of adopt it in pockets of the organization and eventually bring it together. So as a result, the things that hit the bottom line, right? It reduces complexity, which in turn allows you to get to market faster and reduce your cost. Your operational efficiencies is increased. You're aligned to an industry standard so that if you adopt vendor or third-party solutions that are also aligned to BIAN, you're kind of talking the same language and your integrations become much easier. It does help improve compliance and risk management, which is a big theme for banks. And it fundamentally future-proofs your architecture, right? So if you move to something like this, you have the confidence of knowing that, first of all, you're one of hundreds of banks and vendors that have adopted it. And it is, as I said, because it's stable over time, you're on a very solid footing. So BIAN-based business cases stand up really well, especially if you start in kind of manageable chunks, and you can get things out quickly. You can get some kind of ROI and have a payback that's measured in months rather than years, which is all very, very important for the bottom line.